Uh, hey, folks. It's Brian from Weird Over 2. Just a little early, making sure everything's working here. Spur of the moment show again. If anybody's out there in the outer darkness, let me know if you can hear me. Whew. One of them days. It's hot down here in Texas. It's all humid. It's all thick. Ugh. We'll jump in proper in a couple minutes. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Father's Day is tomorrow. So if there's any fathers or daddies out there, hopefully your loved ones will give you some cred or acknowledgement, at least, that you are part of the mix. You know how it goes, guys. You know, it's like, your family gets older and they got their own things going on, their own lives and stuff, and your wives don't give shit. Right, baby? Jay boy, what's up, man? Yeah, I just got back from moving all that shit, dude. I'm fucking tired as fuck. Whew. It's over, though. It's humid and nasty out today, too, brother. You guys got anything going on tomorrow for Father's Day? I doubt it. Your fathers get like it's like, hey, Dad, happy Father's Day. And we're like, thanks. There's no like big campaigns for, I don't know. Is there football games or fucking, I don't even know I don't watch sports. That's so stupid. I don't know if I get shafted, but it's not built. Father's Day isn't built up like it is for like, Mother's Day or, birthdays or anything like that. But I guess it's there. What the fuck? We had to add to the goulash to make it work. we have to deal with you for 9 months pregnant and keep it going. We got to keep things going when you guys are pregnant. We got to pay the bills, make sure you're eating, you're not catching shit on fire. Yeah, I guess, is Father's Day always on a Sunday? Maybe it is always on a Sunday. Now that I think of it, I don't think it's any set day. I think it is like I can't remember. That's crazy. Actually, I don't even, maybe it is on every, like was it the last Sunday of June? No, I don't know. Might be. Crazy stuff. Well, at least we're off. At least you're off. At least some of you guys are off. I mean, I'm sure some guys aren't. They have to fucking work. We picked up some of this Fanta, like sugar-free. It's not too exciting. Not too exciting at all. Whatever. But okay, it's 3:00. Ring the bell. Weird World War II is on the march. Well, some of us fat bastards can't be drinking sugary sodas, dude. If we're gonna drink a soda, which is rare, we drink a fucking sugar-free one. Unlike skinny bastards like you, Stone. You know who you are. But anyway, so today is Saturday. And this is Weird War Wednesday, but we're doing it on Saturday because I got to work on next Wednesday and blah, 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 blah. So there you go. Do what?
Actually, you're off next week.
No, I'm not. We got to work Wednesday night.
No, we don't.
Oh, we don't?
No.
Fuck it. Well, we're doing it anyway.
Monday and Tuesday, we're off Wednesday night and Thursday.
Oh, shit, we are off. Well, anyway, this was for the Wednesday we missed. How's that?
Okay.
Last Wednesday. This is one for. I thought we had to work Wednesday, but this one is for last. Who gives a fuck? But anyway, we're doing a Weird War Wednesday today from last week, and tonight we were talking. Do what?
Sure.
My woman, man. She's a spanking. She's been a brat. But tonight we're going to talk about using various critters on your weird World War II battlefields. And when I mean critters, I don't mean like monsters per se, but like animals. When I was doing that deep dive into the weird War II, we're looking through the bestiary here, and they had like all these like little monsters or little creatures or whatever. It made me think that you don't really have to delve too deep into like the weird to like actually field trained animals on the battlefields. Now, traditionally, certain animals have been, always been at war along with their masters. We talk about dogs, back in the day, from fucking cavemen, the dogs would protect the tent, So I guess that they had that symbiotic relationship where the dogs would be fed, right, by the humans, and they would kind of hang around the camps, and the dogs would, warn of danger or whatever coming toward the camps. And so you form that relationship, and then humans started to actually train dogs. You even got a tighter relationship. So in warfare, dogs have been around for quite a while. They're trained to sniff out the enemy, or even advanced training would like sniff out like certain types of explosives, certain kinds of chemicals or whatever. So dogs would be prolific. Now, there's all sorts of levels of what you could do with the animal, with the dog in the gaming. Okay. Now, I would say most nations on the planet would have people in its population that could train animals, right? So I wouldn't think there'd be much limitations on the belligerents having access to dogs, maybe certain species or certain breeds of dogs, but I wouldn't think. I mean, a medium-sized dog would work for most things. But I was thinking kind of outside the box. Well, let's just go to the historical aspect. So, you have the whole guard dog thing, right? So you got that, and then you have like those would be like the guarding and the sniffing out for the enemy, and blah 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 blah. And then they would have like attack dogs. They'd let loose dogs like to like war dogs, I guess is what they call them. And they would like, ow, fuck, I just hit my toe. So they would attack the enemy, run them down or whatever. But, as modern combat advances, weaponry is a lot more lethal. So dogs would get shot up pretty quick if they kind of went into that role. But
I have a question. What about stray dogs with rabies?
well, yeah. So Mel brings up a good question. So I'll get there, babe. And then, so in World War II, the Soviets used, they trained dogs to go underneath tanks, right? And supposedly enemy tanks, right? But, the Soviets are so goddamn smart, they train these dogs with Soviet vehicles. So, they would starve them, and then the food would be under the tanks, and the dogs would run to the tank underneath the tanks, to eat the food. And then there would be a mine on their back, and the mine would trigger and it would explode. Well, guess what? They didn't train with German vehicles, so the dogs would like if there was Soviet vehicles around, they would run to them because it's like, hey, that's where our food is kept. Well, I've never seen that thing before. And they were running, so they didn't work very good. So whatever. But you could advance that into weird World War II, and you could have them like more advanced, more trained, so you can actually have them work well. And you've seen the fucking dog movies where they can like crawl underneath shit, and they can jump over big stuff, and like what was that movie, The Wonderful or the Amazing Dobermans? Remember that?
Yeah.
Dude, that was awesome. If you guys ever seen The Amazing Dobermans, it's like a 1970s movie where like these gangsters train these Dobermans to break into a bank or some shit and rob it. But then like the neighbor kid befriends the dogs, and the dogs refuse to do the evil. It's fucking great. But no, you can train these animals, and then in the Weird War II aspect, you can up train them, obviously, like advanced train them to do shit. You know, there was messenger animals. There were like, you know, the classic, you know, first aid dogs or whatever. So you got all that kind of auxiliary and support aspects, and you got kind of the combat where they can be like war dogs. They run down the enemy or attack, just let loose, let them attack, or you know, the mine dogs or whatever it might be. But Mel made an interesting topic. Maybe you know, somehow release like packs of like rabid animals.
Yeah, there's gonna be dead bodies. They're gonna be eating on the dead bodies.
Yeah, so you know, leave these rabid animals on the battlefield to feed off the war dead and like withdraw from the area, and then like the enemy would, you know, take over the area, and then they'd be inundated with, you know, a bunch of rabid animals. Now, I mean, it wouldn't be super hard to kill a bunch of dogs. I mean, but I'm sure a couple of folks would get shot, or a couple of folks would be, you know, bitten and infected or whatever, and they're pack animals. And but you know, I believe there was a general issue that Germans would shoot any fucking dogs when they were in the Soviet Union because of the mine dogs. So all of them were getting fucking shot anyway. So I don't know, but you know, thinking about that, I was thinking about other animals that they would use. Now, you know, we talked about the Americans had developed those bat bombs, and you know, they didn't train these bats. They just basically tied fucking incendiary little explosives on their back, dropped them out of an airplane, and then the bomb would let them out, and they'd fly around, and they'd, you know, and this is over like, you know, Tokyo or wherever the fuck they would have it. And you know, most of the most of the construction in Japanese cities at the time was wood and paper, you know, that paper, wood, whatever. So these small incendiary bombs would cause some fucking damage. They're thinking like world, you know, like, you know, fucking firestorms starting because of these things. But you know, you can't really, like, again, you can't really fucking train a bat. I mean, well, and Mel just mentioned some homing pigeons, right? And yeah, they were like deployed on most armies had some sort of, I think the Americans had them in early war, but yeah, there were like homing pigeons and carrier pigeons and all that shit. And, you know, there was like, I believe there was even like anti-carrier bird, like weapons too. They would like weaponize hawks and eagles to like hunt down, like if they see carrier pigeons flying around, they'd send out these hawks and shit out to go out and kill them. That's kind of cool. So you could have a fucking bird battle above the battlefield. But then, you know, I was thinking, I was watching Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark the other day. And, you know, remember that scene? There was like that Nazi spy, that Arab Nazi spy, and he had that little monkey, right, that ends up eating the date and dies or whatever. Well, I was thinking, man, is that you could train like little fucking monkeys to like deploy like maybe grenades. You know, maybe you can like you know, train these animals somehow to go, you know, it's like, hey, you know, Cheat Chew, go run over there and give this to this guy. Be sure to pull the pin when you get to him. And then, like what? Like canaries? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could use, but I mean, canaries had to be in confined spaces. I mean, you could see most chemical weapons, militarized chemical weapons of those days. You could see it floating in the air, and there were other detectors and shit that did it, other than just a bird. But yeah, but I was thinking like a fucking like just a cadre of like a bunch of monkeys, you know, running out with grenades. And you know, yeah, like the Wizard of Oz, like the flying monkeys. I mean, just imagine, instead of them fucking flying, you know, each one of them had a grenade, and you're like, okay, there's the enemy in that house. Go give these toys to that, and come back, and I'll give you a fucking you know, chicken fried steak, or the fucking monkey eats banana or whatever it is. And if they come back and they do it, then bonus. But if they get blown up, who gives a shit? It's a fucking monkey. And then, well, what I was thinking, it was like as a handler, the Soviets, had handlers of these dogs, and they had weapons that they had, like usually SMGs to shoot these animals if they came back toward them. And you'd have to have that. If you had a bunch of monkeys, you let loose with grenades, unless it's some mystical shit or whatever, using them in that fashion. You'd have to have some sort of defense. So I was thinking like shotguns. Shotguns would probably work really well against monkeys, like little spider monkeys. And then you could keep going in the then we get hit the simians. You could get like Weird World War II is rife with like the whole militarized giant apes or enhanced apes or whatever the fuck it might be. So apes are already in the genre, so you can just go crazy with apes. But and baboons, baboons are fucking crazy fuckers. I mean, dude, they're like, they'll eat your face off. They're brutal. But if you could and again, desperation drives a lot of these programs. Like the Soviets, they're like, we gotta stop these damn German tanks. We don't have any tanks right now. We gotta slow them up. We don't have time to dig ditches, so let's some fucking dogs. So I mean, you gotta think maybe in areas like North Africa, or in the Pacific where you have belligerents, being invaded. You got a nation being invaded. They can use the local, fauna to weaponize that shit. And I don't see that's a big stretch, doing that. So we talked about monkeys, and again, very limited, if we're talking just kind of like what people could train animals to do, not like super science, stick an antenna in their head and you just control them like a fucking remote control car. But we're just talking about something kind of real world. Shadow, what's up, buddy? We're talking about weaponizing animals and other critters on the Weird War battlefield. But yeah, I think like small monkeys, with satchel charges or grenades or whatever would be feasible. And then, we already talked about the apes, the chimps and stuff. You could, a chimp could do a lot. If you train chimps to go through the jungle and, train them to put satchel charges or grenades on shit that they see and come back home, give them a bunch of bananas. There you go. I don't think that's too far stretching. And then it's Weird World War II, so fuck it. You can just do whatever you want. But then, we keep going. We talked about some different kinds of birds and how they could be deployed in dogs. Could you fucking do a cat in any way?
Hell no.
No, fucking cats ain't worth a shit. You couldn't train a cat to do nothing.
Well, yeah, you could.
I haven't talked about elephants. We talked about bats. Yeah, we talked about the bats. But, the bats aren't really trained. They're just kind of released with the incendiary bombs on their back. Yeah. Well, so what really happened? So Mel asked, "Isn't that dangerous for everyone?" Well, what happened is when they were doing this, they were doing the feasibility study in New Mexico. Some of the bats escaped where they were being held, and it burned down half the fucking base. So it worked, right? And they were going to deploy these fucking bat bombs, right, in the bombing runs in Japan. But the A bomb was delivered and successful, and they said, well, we're just going to scrap that shit and just nuke them. So there you go. That's why the bat bombs didn't get deployed. They were going to be deployed, but the A bomb stopped it all. But now bears. Okay, let's talk about bears. Now there's a real famous story of a bear. I can't remember his damn name, but I think he was in Poland or with the Polish forces. There was a circus bear that was pictured carrying ammo to the troops and doing kind of shit like that. But in the Weird War, now I know some the Soviets, they kind of have the werebear troop type in some of their armies, and and that's cool. That's weird war. That's heavy weird war. But I mean, I could see where bears could be trained as some sort of assault force. But the thing about bears is there's not a lot of them. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of bears out in fucking woods, but I mean, could you capture enough fucking bears and then train them well enough in a time frame to make them actually like an assault unit or some shit? It would be fucking cool though. But I mean, again, this is weird war, so you could do that. I mean, if you can train a dog, you can train a bear to do something. I don't know about wolf. I guess maybe half wolves you could train, but like wolves, I don't know, man. Maybe if you have them as pups, but again, that time frame, you'd have to that's a long maturity to get a weapon system up. But I don't know. I guess you could do it. Lions, man, I don't know about lions. I mean, again, in a weird war concept, you can do fucking any animal. But I'm just thinking kind of real world. First we'll hit the real world because we know what we could do with the weird war. Stick an antenna on their head and strap down a little helmet hat and they're fucking control. There you go. There's your weird war. That's easy. But actually deploying in kind of like some sort of rational, realistic manner. And it's funny. I talk about realism, and it's weird because I run a fine line in my gaming, my weird war. I want things to be practical in that it seems like it could be real. Like these walkers and shit. I mean, those aren't real, but I mean, they look like if this technology was around at the time, they look like they would be real. They don't look like alien designs. They don't look like they don't look like fucking UFOs. They look like what a human would build if they had the technology to do it. So that's why I kind of want to stay in my gaming. Although you have superheroes, you don't have a shit ton of them. They're rare, and they might have they might have duds. They ain't worth a shit. He creates fucking cotton candy. That's his fucking superpower. Ooh, cotton candy man. I can make cotton candy out of thin air. Well, that's fantastic, but that's a dud. Micro Noodle, remember, he could shrink and expand, but when he was in small form, he had the same strength as he had in his big form. Which he can infiltrate shit, and be like a spy. I don't know, shit. Snake bombs. Huh. But would snakes go towards living things? I don't think they would be the best. Maybe if you dropped them out of a helicopter flies by and just drops out a bunch of asps and fucking rattlesnakes and shit. That'd be fucking cool. Yeah, so Shadow was saying, you don't need to necessarily train certain animals. You can just release them. Snakes would be a good idea. I think that's a pretty good idea. If you bred a bunch of rattlers, you starve them up a little bit, or just the chaos of them flying in a fucking helicopter or a plane or something, and you just piss them all off. Oh, dude, rattles from the sky. Rattling death from the sky. That's sweet. Ooh, someone needs to draw a picture of that. Bunch of rattlesnakes falling from a B-17, damn, that'd be fucking awesome. Yeah, but yeah, snake pits, they just ship them all from fucking Texas. Water moccasins, rattlers. You could do copperheads for the US stuff, and then in the Pacific you do all the crazy shit, the water snakes and the coral snakes and the fucking in the India area you'd have the cobras and the king cobras and all that crazy asps and all that shit. That'd be sweet. Motherfucking snakes on a motherfucking helicopter. That's true, dude. Snakes flying from the fucking air, from the air. Yeah, just imagine. I mean, that'd be interesting, dude. Because if you think about that, you've got entrenchments, enemy entrenchments, right? And you've got either a helicopter, because this is weird, and they had helicopters back in the day in World War II. They fielded most the big armies fielded helicopters, but they just weren't in big numbers. But yeah. little like a little spotter plane or whatever, and just releases all these like fucking snakes into the trench works, right? And now those snakes are trapped inside of foxholes, inside of trenches, and in placements and shit. Holy shit, everybody be like jumping out of there, and the minute they jumped out of that foxhole or that trench, the enemy would just open up on them. Dude, that's cool. All right, man. Shout out, good to see you, man. Thanks for swinging by. But yeah, that's a great idea, man. Dude, Robin, make a note of that, babe. Trent, we're gonna do snake bombs. Write that shit down. Snake bombs, done. We're gonna do some rules for the snake bombs. That's a great idea. I was thinking about like certain kind of like bugs. That's not a big thing. There's some.
You can do bees.
Bees, man, I don't know. They just fly apart, though. You know what I mean? They just dissipate.
You put their whole hive.
I like throw hives down. Yeah. But what bees get one sting in and they're fucking dead.
Or hornets.
Hornets.
They sting more than one.
Are those murder hornets that the Japanese have? Maybe they deploy those Asian murder hornets. See. I know that some of the Weird War systems have like or just in general you can have druidic soldiers that can they can manipulate the animals and shit and we've got some that are Japanese and they're able to control like insects, stuff like that, to their bidding, like the smaller lesser creatures.
Birds can be used to take down planes.
Yeah, you can do flocks of birds flying around into like aircraft and stuff. But I mean, that would, I just don't know how effective that would be.
Remember Indiana Jones where
yeah, but that's like, that was all those fucking birds took down one plane. I mean, you'd have to have a shitload of birds to like take down like a bomber, and that's just one bomber. But no, that's feasible, man. To have some sort of like, way to deploy, massive birds. But I don't think birds would work because I think they're a little more too intelligent. They fly around and dodge shit and whatever. But I don't know. So, Shadow mentioned like elephants and stuff. I don't think they had elephants. Elephants were militarized a long time ago when Hannibal and his armies. His mercenary armies would go when they were attacking the Romans back in the day, and they used the war elephants, and some of the Mediterranean countries and some of the Middle Eastern countries and Asian countries used the war elephants, and they were effective, right? But again, in a modern combat, I think elephants would be so slow and so big that they just. Yeah, they need a lot of fucking care, but I think they would just be easy targets to take out. They're slow, they're big. You couldn't really charge them in modern combat. I mean, because some machine gun will take down an elephant. Rifles will take down an elephant. So a couple bullets in an elephant is down. So you wouldn't want to waste all that. Maybe like for auxiliary stuff, maybe like moving ammo around or maybe shit like that. I don't know, but I don't think they'd be feasible in modern combat. Now, you got horses. Obviously horses are been trained forever, but I don't believe horses can be used for attacking, like themselves attacking things. They pretty much their attacks are like a trample, and they're just being forced to run, and they're not like being forced to like run to that and then jump on them and bite them and kick them and stuff. I don't think horses would do that. But in a pinch, like the classic, classic Western maneuvers. If you're around, herd animals, you can like stampede herd animals to like the enemy. And either like, cause them to be crushed or maybe, just slow their advance or whatever it might be. So that might be some kind of like, if your war game has some sort of like limited role play, maybe you could like manipulate a herd of some sort of cattle and have them stampede. That would be fucking cool. In fact, I just saw a picture just the other day from one of the Mars Attacks comic books. And those are great, by the way. If you guys never read any of those are fantastic. They're just twisted as fuck. But on the cover is a bunch of like cowboys like stampeding like and riding like cows and bulls and shit, right? And they're running over they're just crushing the fucking little Martians. And some of the cows are on fire because the Martians shot them and stuff. So, but it's fucking great. There's like Martians' bodies stuck on like bull horns and stuff. But I mean, for something for fun, you can maybe have like some combat cows, battle cows, have them like, I don't know if they'd be armored, but maybe you can like, if they have the horns, maybe you can like make them real fucking sharp. They sharpen them up. Maybe give the cow some sort of like combat drug, like some sort of like speed that makes them run faster and without fear. But again, man, that'd be like, you really got to take care in trying to manipulate that at the beginning, because if they turn around, but I mean, cows don't really turn, do they? And like 360 all of a sudden, right? They kind of do a lumbering turn, right? When they're stampeding. Yeah, because they don't just stop and turn around. I mean, they would do a big old wide, turn. But so you'd have to get them started in the right direction before. You should be pretty safe in doing that. But that'd be kind of cool. That'd be interesting, Like there's a herd of, you're in Greece and there's a bunch of goats. And you like stampede a bunch of goats. But if you. Yeah. I mean, you could like, again, and guys, we're not talking about like injecting goats with fucking some sort of, super soldier serum that makes them crazy to go eat people. I mean, you could do that anyway in your weird war. You can just say, yeah, we got a goat chemical that we spray on goats, and they run 50 yards and then they explode. You can just make that kind of shit up for Weird World War II. But again, we're trying to keep in the realm of reality and practicality. But can you guys think of any other kind of animal, like land animals or air animals? I think the birds are pretty limited in like messaging. I guess you could do like Angry Birds, like they like have little explosives on them somehow. They're crazy birds, and you just fly off. Yeah, they they don't necessarily want to die or hit shit. They don't fly towards things. But I don't know. Maybe you can train them like a certain uniform they're attracted to, and they fly toward a certain uniform for some reason, and they blow up. And so they have like a proximity fuse on. They get close to something, they just pop. Rats. I mean, a thing with rats and like other rodents and vermin, you can like infect and cause like spread diseases around really easily. So, that if you're playing like a long campaign or something, you can, introduce, infected whatever into the area. And, the fucking Japs did that. The unit 729 or whatever it is, they infected populations with infected rat swarms and shit too, and they also just sprayed people with fucking anthrax and shit, just like a hands fucking evil fucks. But yeah, what else? So now let's get into the fish. Now I know in the I want to say in the 70s, the Americans were developing like using porpoises and dolphins for naval like detection. They're using them for like detecting like submarines and like enemy like underwater divers, and like so I think they're also trying to do like they were patrolling like the submarine pins and shit, or the submarine fences, underwater ones, doing shit like that. And I believe they actually also developed some kind of system where they were like mines. They designed some of these animals to like swim toward enemy craft and explode. But I don't think that was, that's not cool. Lemmings to clear minefields. It's true. That's another thing you can use critters for is you can just like, you have a minefield in play and you push forward whatever, probably like cattle, I would think. That's probably been done, honestly. In combat, like in a pinch, they probably, hey, there's this farmer's got, 20 head of fucking cattle, and we know this road is fucking mine. Let's just push these bitches down there. And if they blow up, they'll clear the minefield and we'll just eat them. Fucking slaughter them there on the road and just eat them for barbecue. So, yeah, I mean, I could totally see that. Hell, man, they might. But what else what other kind of animals can you think about? I like that snake idea. Just dropping snakes from fucking airplanes. That's fucking cool. Just the skies blackened with rattlesnakes falling to the ground. I mean, you could do like poisonous like insects or venomous insects. But I just don't think you get enough to disperse them. You know what I mean? The way you deploy them, I think they would be dispersed so wide that it wouldn't be effective. But like, yeah, man, if you could get 100 bazillion black widows and like, crop dust that shit the enemy position with black widows, yeah, that's not good. And then there's all sorts of fucking different kinds of venomous insects across the planet. So you can do some sort of mass production, breeding program. I mean, I don't even know. Could you even breed fucking black widows? I don't even know how that works. I know about the birds and the bees, not the beetles and the spiders. But can you think of anything else, babe? Like animals?
Do you use whales or anything?
You could use whales like in a cool weird war aspect, like
a battleship.
yeah, I mean, like if like my forces of Atlantis, I say that they have access to technology that's able to control like larger sea mammals and larger fish. But that'd be cool. I mean, just your soldiers are riding on top of like, blue whales, underwater.
Could they be used to find submarines?
Yeah, I mean, so Mel brings up a cool topic, like developing some sort of tech to use whales to detect or hunt down enemy subs. That'd be kind of cool. Or even enemy capital ships. You got a whale, senses, whatever, Jap destroyer, and it's yeah. So what is that? We talked about the Navy doing the dolphins. Whales with torpedoes. That'd be fucking cool. Put some like rig them on the side, dude. That's fucking cool. Just imagine that big sperm whale, this big fucking white whale, these big ass like two like torpedoes on either side of it. That would be fucking cool. I'd love to see that, dude. Jay, you gotta draw some sketches of that shit. That'd be cool as hell, man. Have like an American flag on the forehead of it, and there's like these torpedoes. Eat lead, Japs. Yeah, I mean, larger mammals like sea mammals would be fucking cool. Sharks, maybe you can get sharks. Again, I don't know if you can train a fucking shark. Sharknadoes, develop Sharknadoes, but that'd be pretty sweet, man. Yeah, but I think larger sea mammals could be manipulated, maybe, because they got brains and shit. They're and they're a little bit more intelligent than the fish critters. So maybe with a little bit of stretching the weird war, you can maybe manipulate, have some sort of training program or even technology that could assist in like that kind of war, that kind of militarization. That'd be kind of cool. What's up, Bo? You're walking in the middle of a fucking shit show, dude. We're talking about militarizing animals on your weird World War II battlefield. This is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, you got your normal, you got your normal suspects. You got like dogs. We're talking about using monkeys, and we're talking about various kind of birds. And Shadow had a really good idea. He said like snakes, and we're seeing. Just imagine this, dude. You got a big breeding program of fucking rattlesnakes, and you got like a B-24 Liberator flies over an enemy entrenched position, and all those snakes, like hundreds of snakes, just fall out into the earthworks, right? So they're trapped in they can't get out of these things. And then the troops inside those things are freaking the fuck out. Oh man, that'd be great. Coyotes? I don't know. I guess any kind of canine you could probably, train in some way. We talked about using dogs in various ways, support ways and combat ways. Lemurs, yeah, we talked about using just pushing critters through areas of like minefields, the cleared minefields, and then just barbecue them up after it's after it's fucking cleared. But yeah, we were talking about ocean critters. And we're trying to stay with like being weird war. You can do anything. Like I said, you just you stick a dust machia thing on the fucking critter's head and you control it. So there you go. But we're kind of talking about like a possible like little bit of stretching in the weird in kind of a more realistic, maybe practical sense. What is the weirdest animal I know? Jesus.
Narwhal.
Oh, narwhals. Yeah, baby. That would be sweet. Using narwhals. Maybe you can their horns. Actually, their teeth. I believe that it's their tooth. It's not a horn, it's a tooth. Anyway, use a narwhal as like a torpedo. Oh, that'd be fucking sweet. That would be awesome. Yeah, narwhals are cool. Big fucking horn dolphin things. Are they porpoise-like? Are they part of that family? Or are they their own thing? Are they fish? Are they a mammal?
I think they're more like a whale.
Are they like a whale? Are narwhals whales? Are they I think they're mammals. I don't think they're fish. I think they're mammals of some sort. But they're whales. Okay, they're a type of whale. Okay. That's fucking cool. Thinking about that, you got like a PT boat, just hitting the water, and then you see like 20 fucking narwhals like swimming next to it, like towards the enemy. That's fucking sweet. That's pretty cool. But yeah, militarizing whales would be cool too. Like I said, we were talking about I have that Atlantis army, and they're able to do that in my story. But if humans were able to somehow manipulate and train the kind of mammal, that'd be kind of cool. Ramming like down air crews in the water and stuff. Oh man, dude, just like great whites, just somehow deploy a pack of great whites during some sort of like the sinking of a ship, like a sub shoots out, has a tank that dispatches some hungry great whites right below the sinking ship, and then they just go to town on the damn. That's getting dark. I love it. But yeah, so Komodo dragons, I mean, those would be fucking cool. Don't they have that like venom, that saliva is like venomous, or it's like it's got some sort of bacteria in it or something. If you get bit by them, you can jack you up pretty good. So basically fucking death lizards. I would say the Japanese could deploy those things, but I want to say those are more Komodo are Komodo dragons from Japan, or is that more like more the Peloponnesians or the Indonesian, like the I want to say it's more Indonesia or maybe fuck, I don't know. The giant Gila monsters, hell yeah. That'd be sweet. I love that movie, by the way. If you guys ever seen Giant Gila Monster or Gila Monster, whatever you fucking want to talk and say it, that's a great movie. Hell yeah, dude, they're big. They're cool. They're like pink and black or something. Pretty crazy looking. I guess they have different colors depending on the critter. Gila, yeah. Look, I'm American. I make words up. Gila. Gila. It's actually Gila because it's like Spanish, I believe. But no, don't give a shit. Merc. Nuclear. That's how I say nuclear. Is nuclear. But what else could we use? I think that's about it. I like my monkey idea, like training like little monkeys to take like grenades to the, and then I like Shadow's like snake like saturation.
Could you use eggs as like
Eggs?
trap? Like, everybody was starving, so they were looking for eggs and stuff. And
well, I mean, the enemy would see you dropping a bunch of eggs.
No,
they probably wouldn't eat it.
Almost like mines, but fill the eggs with something else.
There was instances where they used like eggs as a device to blow up or some shit.
If you put napalm in them, guess what?
Yeah.
They put it over their stove. And
oh yeah, they open an egg. It's full of gas or something. They crack the egg and blows up on them. That'd be cool. There you go. Deadly, acidic, toxic poop.
Oh.
From the monkeys. You inject the monkeys with some sort of weird war serum, and they eat a bunch of bananas, and then they take a shit in their hand and they throw it at the enemy, and it like melts their face or some shit. Literally, some shit. That is weird. That's cool. What other kind of critters? We're talking about cats. No cats be worth a shit. I mean, you could have cool
big cats.
Yeah, maybe like a big cat, but I mean, maybe that'd be like a special like unit. They have like a tiger, a couple tigers that are like ninjas or some shit or something. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. But we talked about big elephants when they'd just be too slow and cumbersome and big to be any kind of weaponized use. We talked about stampeding cattle, using them as some sort of like horned cattle. They could be used as some sort of stampeding assault unit. Yeah, I mean, what other kind of critters? Insects. We talked about insects being like manipulated by like some sort of mystical means, like druidic kind of powers or whatever. Roaches. I don't know if you can weaponize a roach. They are fucking nasty. But if I was in a foxhole and a bunch of roaches fell on me, I'd freak the fuck out, but I probably would just squish them. I wouldn't jump out of the foxhole. Yeah, we talked about murder hornets. We talked about using huge swarms of murder hornets. So Mel said bees at first, and I'm like, well, each bee would only have one attack, and then they're fucking dead. But if you got like those giant murder hornets, like huge fucking swarms of them, those things could really cause some damage. I don't think they're deadly though. I mean, I don't think one sting from them kills you. I mean, I think unless you're susceptible to like the fucking,
No,
But yeah, if you get like hundreds of fucking stings or whatever, I mean that would definitely put a crimp in your plans. But yeah, and I know there's some large spiders. I don't think spiders would work. I mean, there's some big spiders that could cause damage, and even little spiders. But I don't know. I think you couldn't deliver them very well. Oh, really? In Martian Chronicles? I didn't know that. Bo said in the Martian Chronicles there were rifles that shot bees. That's interesting. Poor bees. It's bad. It's not bad enough that they're getting killed by the whatever. Now they're getting shot out of fucking rifles. But yeah, I think that's about, we talked about bears. I mean, there just couldn't be enough of them, and it'd probably take a while to fucking train them. And, I don't know. Again, they're so cumbersome and large that they'd probably be easy targets for, concentrated fire. I mean, they're not like sneaky. Yeah, I mean, and Bo, you're getting into like the heavy weird war, and that, and again, if you go really hardcore weird war, you can do anything. But we were trying to stay kind of in a realistic, semi-realistic, possibility. Boars, ooh, there you go, like starving, like battle boars. That'd be kind of cool. But they're so big. How could you deploy them? You know what I mean? Unless it was like in a pinch, like, again, you happen to cross a herd of boar and you just stampede them. I mean, how would you deploy a combat boar patrol by truck? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Just back up the truck and you just get the fuck out. Kick them out. Go. But yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking in a wargaming scene. Again, if you get weird war, you can fucking do whatever the fuck you want. You can make boars so big you can ride them. I don't know if that would be very practical. I don't know if anybody would want to ride a boar into battle. But yeah, I mean, you could, again, do it.
Tear some shit up.
They would tear some shit up, especially if they're starving. They start kicking some ass. But yeah. Well, yeah. So I think we hit pretty much the full gambit. We got to we got birds and land animals. We got sea critters. Yeah, I think that's about it. I like the idea of like Komodo dragons too, like somehow make them bigger.
Yes.
You get some shit, we'll get it.
I know.
Mel ordered a bunch of bullshit from Amazon today. She's like been pacing, waiting for it to arrive, and it just arrived. My God, thank God. To hear her pacing up and down the house. Whew. But yeah.
I'm gonna have to get you to make her out on a robe.
You got a robe on. I'm not wearing any pants at all. None.
Well, thanks for sharing that.
Well, you asked me. You're engaging in a conversation. I'm talking to everybody, and you're engaging in a conversation with me. So I'm going to engage with both parties. But anyway, guys. But yeah, I think we pretty much hit across the board. What you could deploy in a quasi-realistic manner. Yeah, that's for our OnlyFans channel. This is the truth. But I like the idea. I think so. Coming out of this, I really like the idea of shadow snakes. I think that'd be cool. And then I like the idea of like the narwhals and the whales. I think that's a cool idea too. I like my idea with the monkeys too. I think that would be cool. But I think they'd be, dude, I don't know. Monkeys are fucking crazy. And baboons. But that's pretty cool. So there you go, guys. Just, it's brainstorming about, what kind of critters might be practical, and able to be trained in a, quasi-realistic manner in your background and deployed in a certain way. So I wonder if you can deploy snakes through artillery shell, like a large artillery shell. Probably kill them when they shot out. Yeah, the concussion would probably kill them. You'd have to drop them somehow, like drop them out of an airplane or something. Because I don't think you could shoot them out of anything because it'd probably kill them. But all right, guys. Well, Bo, thanks for swinging by. Jay, thanks for swinging by. This was the Weird War Wednesday that we weren't able to get to this last week because I had some stuff pop up. But I am actually off this week, this Wednesday, so I will be able to do this coming up Wednesday's show. So, all you guys, so Bo and Jay, you guys have an awesome Father's Day. Make sure your fucking family recognizes you. At least say thanks, Dad. All right, guys. All right. So whatever you do in this crazy, crazy mixed up world, watch out for those falling rattlesnake swarms and keep it weird. All right, guys. Take it easy.